The grand chamber of the Galactic Council glowed like a sea of stars. Thousands of alien delegates gathered in their shimmering robes, their eyes fixed on the center of the hall, where a giant hologram spun slowly, a small blue planet labeled Earth. For decades, it had been silent, abandoned, forgotten. The Council's leader, a tall reptilian alien with silver scales, slammed his staff on the ground. "Once again, we confirm that the Death World remains inactive," he said proudly. "Humanity is gone." Laughter echoed across the chamber, but before anyone could respond, the lights flickered. The hologram of Earth glitched, spinning faster, then stopped completely. A sharp static sound filled the air, crackling like distant thunder. "What is this interference?" One alien barked. Technicians rushed to their consoles, typing commands. "It's not from us, sir," another shouted. "It's coming from deep space." The laughter faded, replaced by murmurs of confusion. Then, through the static, a voice spoke, deep, calm, and unmistakably human. "To the species who believed we had vanished, you were wrong." Every sound in the chamber died. The words were clear, echoing across every comm device, every display screen, every ship linked to the Council's network. The voice continued. "You thought Earth was silent because it was broken. You thought we surrendered. You were mistaken." Panic spread instantly. "Cut the signal!" the speaker shouted. "Now!" Technicians tried, but their screens turned black, replaced by a faint image. A planet wrapped in darkness, glowing faintly at its core. "What are we seeing?" asked a nervous alien commander. His assistant whispered, "That's not a planet. It's a power grid." The hologram zoomed out, revealing dozens of enormous human warships rising from behind the dark sphere, their hulls sharp and black like knives of shadow. The human voice returned, quieter but filled with weight. "For every life taken from us, a reckoning will rise." The speaker stood, his tail twitching. "Impossible. Humanity was destroyed centuries ago." A trembling old alien whispered from his seat, "No. They disappeared, not destroyed. They were building." Outside the council chamber, ships orbiting the capital world began receiving the same broadcast. The transmission overrode military channels, pirate frequencies, even encrypted lines across the galaxy. On every world that once fought against Earth, screens flashed white, and the same human voice said, "You burned our skies, you took our children. You erased our name from your maps, we remember." The chamber shook as if something massive had passed nearby. A junior officer ran in, eyes wide. "Sir, our long-range sensors are picking up movement. Multiple fleets exiting hyperspace near the outer sectors." "How many?" the speaker demanded. "Hundreds. No, thousands," the officer replied, voice breaking. "And they're human signatures." The entire hall erupted in panic. Delegates shouted, demanded answers. "This must be a trick," cried one alien. "A bluff to scare us." The hologram changed again, this time showing an alien world, Kravar Prime, one of the first planets that had joined the war against Earth. A cold female voice replaced the male one, calm but sharper. "Here begins the debt collection." Before anyone could react, the feed zoomed in, showing flashes of explosions. Human ships appeared above Kravar Prime, firing without hesitation. Their weapons were precise, efficient. They didn't attack civilians, only military structures, silencing defenses one by one. Within minutes, the planet's skies turned dark, then red. The female voice spoke once more, message acknowledged, and the screen went black. Silence returned to the council chamber, broken only by the speaker's trembling voice. "Open communications with Kravar Prime." A technician turned, pale and shaking. "No response, sir. They're gone." The council members began arguing. "We must attack Earth immediately," shouted one. "Find the source of that broadcast," cried another. The old alien who had spoken earlier rose slowly. "You cannot fight what you do not understand," he said. "Humans are not the same as before. They are patient, they are precise." Suddenly, the chamber lights dimmed again. The hologram flickered back to life, showing the face of a man, human, wearing dark armor marked with an ancient Earth emblem. His expression was calm, emotionless. "You called us monsters," he said softly. "Now you will see what monsters learn when peace dies." His eyes scanned the crowd as if he could see each of them. "We do not seek conquest, only balance. Who are you?" the speaker demanded, his voice echoing through the chamber. The human smiled slightly. "Admiral Keon Ward, Fleet Command, Earth Restoration Force." The name sent chills through every delegate who heard it. "This is not a war," Ward said. "This is a broadcast, a reminder and a warning. You thought humanity was gone, but you never understood what silence meant. It meant preparation," the speaker growled. "You think you can frighten us with ghosts? We rule this galaxy." Admiral Ward tilted his head. "Then why are you trembling?" he asked quietly. A sudden hum filled the chamber. The alien screens flashed red. Every ship orbiting their planet began shutting down, engines and weapons offline. A voice from outside screamed, "They've hacked our defense grid." The Admiral looked around calmly. "You've spent centuries building walls," he said. "We've spent the same time learning how to walk through them." And then, just as suddenly as it began, the signal cut off. The lights came back, the hologram faded. The room was left in stunned silence. "What do we do now?" whispered one council member. No one answered. From the planet's orbit, the last message appeared on every screen, written in simple words that every species could read. "We are back and we remember far away." In the shadows of deep space, the human fleet drifted silently, engines glowing faint blue, waiting for the next command. On the bridge of the Oblivion, Admiral Ward stood before the stars, his eyes fixed on the distant light of the galactic capital. "Let them wonder," he said quietly to his crew. "Let them fear the silence." And as the fleet vanished into hyperspace, the galaxy realized that the broadcast was not just a warning. It was the beginning of something far greater, something that would shake the stars themselves. The news of the human broadcast spread across the galaxy faster than light. Every communication hub, every military outpost, every trading vessel repeated the same words. "They are back." Some called it a hoax. Others called it the end of peace on the icy planet of Virion, where the Galactic Council had their base. Confusion turned into fear. The Council demanded answers, but no one could give any. All systems were jammed. The broadcast still echoed through the comm lines, playing the same message again and again. "You took our worlds. You silenced our children. Now you will hear us." In a dim control room deep beneath the council chamber, two alien technicians struggled to shut it down. One of them, a small insectoid creature named Reth, whispered nervously, "I've never seen anything like this." "It's in every frequency," his partner. A tall reptilian called Drax slammed his claws against the console, then changed the frequency. "We cannot let the humans control the grid." But when he pressed the keys, the screens glowed with a strange blue symbol. The old Earth insignia, a single circle with a line across it. "They're inside our system," Reth said in horror. "They've hacked the entire network. Above them, chaos erupted in the main hall. "This is propaganda!" One ambassador shouted, "The humans are extinct. Extinct things don't speak." Another replied, pounding the table. The council speaker tried to calm them. "We must stay united. Whoever sent this message wants to divide us." But before he could finish, the walls shook violently, the lights dimmed, and the hologram of the galaxy appeared on its own. Red dots began flashing on multiple planets, each one a former battlefield from the human exile war. "Those coordinates," the speaker whispered. "They're not random, they're memorials." A voice came through again, this time female, calm and haunting. "For every colony lost, our world will remember." Her tone was cold. "Controlled, for every child you silenced, a star will burn." The entire chamber fell silent. The speaker shouted, "Who are you? What do you want?" The voice answered, "Justice, not mercy." Out in the Renner sector, Admiral Jova of the Vaxan fleet watched from his command bridge. His crew whispered in fear as the same message echoed across their systems. "Shut it off!" he yelled. "We are not listening to human threats." "Sir," his second officer said quietly, "it's not just a message, it's—" "A map," Jova frowned. "A map of what?" The officer pointed to the screen. Of us. All their fleet positions appeared marked in red, one by one disappearing as the signal traced their movements. Then the lights flickered and a new signal flashed. Incoming fleet detected. A minute later, a massive shadow appeared at the edge of the system. Human warships, silent and black, drifted forward in formation. They found us, Jova said softly. The enemy ships didn't open fire, not yet. They just floated. Their lights dimmed as if watching. Then a single human transmission came through. Renor Fleet, stand down, Jova gritted his teeth. This is Admiral Jova of the Vaxan Empire. Identify yourself. The reply was calm. You already know who we are, Jova hesitated. You don't scare us, Deathworlder, the human voice replied. We don't need to. The next second, every weapon system on the Vaxan fleet shut down. Their engines went offline. Lights flickering out. What did they do? The officer shouted. Our control is gone! Jova watched helplessly as the human fleet surrounded them. Still not firing, one of the human ships opened a transmission again, showing a woman with silver hair and piercing eyes. This is Commander Lena Ward of the Earth Restoration Force, she said. We have no interest in your lives, only your obedience. What do you want? Jova asked, his voice shaking. We want you to watch, she said. The screen changed, showing Krava Prime burning. The cities glowing red as orbital strikes hit one by one. This is not war, she continued. This is remembrance. The humans disabled the last of the Vaxan fleet systems and then simply turned around, disappearing into hyperspace, leaving the fleet adrift. Powerless and humiliated back on Virion, the Council received the report. They didn't destroy the fleet. The speaker asked, confused. No, the messenger said. They just left. But they left us a message. The alien handed him a data chip. The speaker inserted it into the central projector, and the hologram showed a message in clear human script. Power without purpose breeds arrogance. Arrogance brings ruin. The council members exchanged nervous glances. A younger ambassador from the smaller world of Thelia stood up. Maybe they want peace, he said. Maybe this is their warning before something worse. The speaker slammed his claw on the table. Peace. They destroyed Krava Prime. They paralyzed Renor Fleet. The ambassador replied, maybe they could have destroyed us all. But they didn't. The chamber grew silent, it was true. Humanity could have attacked everything, but instead, they sent messages, warnings. The old alien who had once fought in the human exile war rose from his seat. His eyes distant. They are showing restraint, he said. That is what makes them terrifying. Outside, the sky above Virion flickered with strange lights. Electromagnetic storms caused by the ongoing signal pulses. In the control room, Reth and Drax stared at their consoles as the symbol of Earth appeared again. This time the message changed. The human voice said, We will not ask again, end your expansion, or the stars will mourn for you, Reth whispered. Do you think they'll really do it? Drax didn't answer. He looked at the glowing blue symbol and said quietly, If they say they will. They already have. That night, across the galaxy, the broadcast repeated one final time. A new voice spoke now, deeper, older, tired. This is Earth Command, it said. We do not seek revenge. We seek balance. The age of silence is over. The transmission ended, and the galaxy fell into uneasy quiet. For the first time in centuries, the Council ordered a ceasefire across all borders. No ships moved, no weapons fired, everyone waited, wondering when the humans would strike again. And in the cold dark of space, aboard the flagship Oblivion, Admiral Keon Ward watched the stars in silence. His sister, Commander Lena Ward, approached. They're afraid, she said. Good, he replied. Let them be. Veer teaches faster than fire. He turned to the window, eyes hard as steel. They thought silence meant defeat, he said softly. Now they'll learn it meant preparation. The human fleet drifted in formation, engines glowing faintly. Their broadcast had reached every corner of the galaxy. Every empire knew now humanity had returned, and they weren't finished yet. The destruction of Krava Prime sent shockwaves across the galaxy. News channels broadcasted endless loops of the burning cities, the silent human ships hovering in orbit, and the haunting message that played afterward. We remember, Entire civilizations panicked, markets crashed, military fleets scrambled, and leaders held secret meetings to discuss how to stop something that seemed unstoppable on the Galactic Council's homeworld. The atmosphere was thick with fear. No one dared to laugh now. The council chamber looked darker than before, even though the same bright crystals hung from the ceiling. "They strike without warning," the speaker said, his voice low. "They vanish without trace. They do not negotiate, they do not demand, they simply appear." His words echoed across the hall. An ambassador from the Vaxan Empire stood and said, "My fleet was disabled. They could have destroyed us easily, they didn't. That means they want something. They want us afraid," another replied, "and they have succeeded." Meanwhile, far from the council world, on a remote mining colony called Thalen IV, a small group of workers gathered around a flickering holoscreen. The same message played on loop. The same human voice, calm and cold. For every voice silenced, "A world will remember," a miner whispered. "Do you think they'll come here?" Another replied, "Why would they? We're just miners." But their foreman, an older alien named Coral, shook his head. "The humans don't care if we're soldiers or not. They remember everything." Hours later, the ground began to tremble. The miners ran outside, staring at the sky. A single human ship appeared, black and silent, blocking the sun. It didn't attack, it didn't move, it just hovered there. A voice came through their local comms. "Evacuate," Coral shouted. "Evacuate where?" "Anywhere," he said. "That ship isn't here by mistake." Within minutes, the mining outpost systems began to fail, the lights flickering out, and then, as suddenly as it came, the human ship vanished, leaving only silence behind. Back at the Galactic Council, reports from Thalen IV came in. "They didn't destroy the colony," the speaker said, confused. "Then why send a ship?" The technician replied, "To send a message." "Sir," he played a recording of what the human signal left behind. It was only one sentence. "You built weapons on sacred ground." The council erupted in anger. Sacred ground. One delegate shouted, "It's a mining site." The old alien general from the previous war stood up slowly. "No," he said quietly. "That was one of the first worlds the humans colonized before the war. You mined over their graves." The hall went completely silent. The speaker clenched his claws. "Then we have awakened something much worse than we thought." In a secret military base hidden deep in the Outer Rim, a meeting was taking place among the highest-ranking military leaders from different empires. "We must form an alliance," said Admiral Rook of the Trillion Empire. "If we stand alone, we will all fall." A tall insectoid general hissed. "Humans do not seek alliance, they seek revenge." "Then we strike first," another suggested. "Destroy what's left of their worlds, cut their communication lines." "You can't strike what you can't find," Rook said. "They're ghosts in the dark." Suddenly, the lights in the meeting room flickered. A voice filled the air, the same calm, deep human tone. "You call us ghosts, but ghosts only haunt those with guilt." Everyone froze. "Who hacked this line?" Rook shouted, "We are in a secured system." The voice continued, "We are not your enemy, but we are not your prey either. We warned you. You ignored it." The lights went completely out, then came back, and every screen showed the symbol of Earth. Underneath it were the words, "Balance must be restored." Admiral Ruck slammed his fist on the table. "They're listening to us, every word." "Then maybe we should start listening too," said a soft voice from the corner. It was Ambassador Thelia, the youngest member of the council. "They've spared us twice," she said. "Maybe they're not trying to destroy the galaxy. Maybe they're trying to stop us from destroying it ourselves." The others laughed bitterly. "You think monsters care about peace?" One hissed. Thelia looked at him. "No," she said quietly. "I think monsters are what we made them." On Earth's hidden command ship Oblivion, Admiral Keon Ward stood before a massive screen showing the entire galactic map. His sister Lena joined him. "They're scared," she said. "Every government is panicking." "Good," he replied. "But fear fades fast. We need understanding." "Understanding?" she asked, "after what they did to us?" Keon turned slowly, his eyes dark. "We didn't build these ships to destroy Lena. We built them so no one would dare again." Then why attack their worlds? She asked. He looked at the burning image of Crava Prime on the screen. Because sometimes you have to burn a symbol to erase arrogance, an officer entered. Sir, transmission from Virion intercepted. They're forming a combined fleet. Kion smiled faintly. As expected, Lena frowned. Should we strike first? He shook his head. No, let them come. Meanwhile, aboard the Erebus, deep in the shadows of a dying star, Admiral Kion Ward stood in silence, watching thousands of drones assemble in space. Lena approached him. They're moving again, she said. We intercepted their communications. Of course, he replied calmly. They can't help themselves. Do we stop them? She asked. Not yet, he said. Let them walk into the dark on their own. The Council fleet arrived at the nebula 3 days later, hundreds of ships piercing through the gas clouds like arrows. Sensors flickered, readings distorted. We're losing visibility, Rook said. It's interfering with our systems. Keep moving, the speaker ordered over the comms. They're here somewhere. The ships pressed deeper until the stars vanished behind the fog. Then suddenly the radar went blank. No signals, a pilot whispered. It's like something swallowed the data. The silence grew thick, only the hum of engines filling the air. Then it began, one by one. The outer ships disappeared. No explosion, no light, just gone. What's happening? Ruck shouted. We're losing vessels. Static filled the comms and a faint voice came through. We warned you not to come. The crew froze. Who is this? The speaker demanded, Identify yourself. The voice replied, calm and cold. You know who we are. The nebula's mist shifted, and massive shapes emerged, human ships silent as shadows, their lights dim, forming a wall in front of the alien fleet. This is Fleet Command, Ward's voice echoed. You entered a graveyard, not a battlefield. The speaker sneered. You think you can frighten us again? We came prepared this time. He raised his hand and shouted, Fire! Hundreds of beams of light shot forward, but before they reached the human ships, they vanished, absorbed by the mist. The energy readings spiked, then turned back toward the Council fleet. What's happening? Ruck yelled. They're redirecting the shots. A blinding flash filled the nebula as the fleet's own fire turned against them, tearing through their shields. Alarms blared. Chaos erupted. Fall back! Fall back now! Ruck shouted. The speaker refused. No! We finish this! Another voice joined the human transmission. A woman's this time. You can't finish what you don't understand. It was Lena Ward. Calm but sharp, you entered our memory field. Memory field. Rook repeated, What is that? The last thing you'll ever forget, she said. The human ships moved forward, weapons glowing faintly but never firing. Instead, they projected thousands of holographic images around the alien fleet, images of destroyed human colonies, burning cities and empty Earth landscapes. The crew watched in horror as the holograms merged with reality. Is this real? One officer cried, I don't know. Rook shouted back, Our sensors can't tell. The illusion grew stronger. Whispers filled their comms. Voices of human civilians, children crying. You took our skies. You burned our homes. The speaker slammed his fist. This is psychological warfare. Kion's voice returned. No, this is truth. We didn't destroy you. The speaker yelled, You brought this on yourselves. And you never stopped, Ward replied quietly. You erased, you exploited, you lied. For a moment the speaker went silent, staring at the flickering holograms, then screamed, You're no better. You became what you hated. The line went quiet, and then Ward said, Maybe, but we remember why. The mist began to clear, revealing that most of the Council fleet was gone, disabled, drifting, powerless. Only a few ships remained. Ruck looked at his crew. We have to retreat. Retreat! The speaker spat. We will not bow to them. Ruck turned, his voice low but steady. Then you'll die shouting. He pressed a command on his console, activating emergency warp. The remaining ships jumped out just as the human fleet vanished again, leaving behind only silence and debris. Back on Virion, the survivors reported the loss. 70% of our fleet destroyed, a general said. The rest, disabled or missing. The council fell into stunned silence. Thelia spoke softly. How many warnings will it take before you understand? The speaker, shaking, whispered, "They are not gods." "No," she replied. "They're worse, they're patient, in the shadows of space." The Erebus floated silently. Keon Ward watched the retreating ships fade into the dark. "They won't stop," Lena said beside him. "They'll keep coming, won't they?" "Yes," Keon said, "but each time fewer will return. Do you ever wonder if we've gone too far?" she asked quietly. He looked out at the stars. "They burned our home," he said softly. "We built our vengeance on its ashes." Lena nodded, her voice barely a whisper. "Then what now?" Keon turned, his eyes cold and focused. "Now," he said, "we make them listen." He pressed a button. And across the galaxy, the final broadcast began once more. "To every world that hears this message," his voice said, "humanity does not seek to rule. Humanity seeks balance. Remember our silence, because it will return, and when it does, it will not speak." The transmission ended, leaving every world in stillness. Across planets, stars, and colonies, beings looked to the sky with fear, hoping not to see those black ships again. But somewhere deep in the void, humanity was watching, waiting and remembering. And the galaxy knew this was not the end, only the calm before their next judgment. The galaxy had fallen into a strange silence. No more fleets moved, no more wars were fought. It was as if every world was holding its breath, waiting for the next human broadcast. Rumors spread like wildfire. Some said the humans had vanished again. Others claimed they were rebuilding something greater. The Galactic Council tried to keep order, but fear was stronger than authority. Even the speaker had lost his confident tone. He sat in his private chamber, staring at the hologram of the destroyed fleets. "They warned us," he whispered, "and we still didn't listen." Ambassador Thelia entered quietly. "You look tired," she said softly. "You should rest." "How can I rest when ghosts walk between the stars?" He replied, "They destroyed 70% of our fleet without mercy, and left the rest alive," she reminded him. "Maybe that was mercy." The speaker shook his head. "Mercy would have been silence." Meanwhile, in the dark edge of the galaxy, the human flagship Erebus hovered inside a storm of energy. Admiral Keon Ward stood before a massive holographic display, showing thousands of dots across the galaxy, council worlds, shipyards and colonies. His sister Lena entered. "The galaxy is quiet," she said. "They're rebuilding. Slowly." "Good," he replied. "Let them rebuild. Fear grows stronger in peace than in war." "You think fear will keep them from attacking again?" she asked. "No," he said, "but it will make them think first." A young officer rushed into the command room. "Admiral, we've intercepted a transmission. It's coming from within the council itself." Keon frowned. "Play it." The screen flickered to life, showing a group of aliens in secret meeting, the speaker among them, whispering, "If we can't destroy their fleets, we'll destroy their home. We found coordinates, an unmarked system near a dead star. It must be where they hide their main command." Lena stared at the recording. "And they're planning to strike again." "Let them try," Keon said quietly. "But this time they'll find something else." A few days later, the Council's new strike force gathered, smaller than before but desperate. Admiral Ruck led the fleet, his expression grim. "We cannot live in their shadow forever," he told his crew. "We must strike first, before they strike us again. What if this is another trap?" His first officer asked. "Then we'll die trying," Rook replied. They entered the dark star system, scanners on full. The void was endless and silent, not a single signal in sight. "Are you sure this is the place?" the officer asked. "Yes," Rook said. "The energy readings match the ones from their fleet." Suddenly the radar beeped, faint at first, then stronger. "Contact!" "How many?" Rook asked. "One, just one ship." "One?" he repeated. "They're mocking us." The massive shadow of a human ship appeared from the darkness, bigger than any they'd ever seen. "That's not a ship," someone whispered. "That's a fortress." The vessel slowly turned, and a deep voice came through their comms. "You seek the heart of humanity," it said. "Then look upon it." The hologram of a planet appeared, Earth, not as the Council remembered, but rebuilt, glowing with new life. Oceans restored, cities shining in silver light. "That's impossible," Rock whispered. "Earth was dead." You thought it was," the voice said. "You thought silence meant ashes, it meant rebirth." The fleet began to panic. "They found us!" the communications officer cried. "They're everywhere!" Dozens of human ships emerged from behind the dark planet, forming a perfect circle around the alien fleet. "We have to retreat." The officer shouted. "No," Rook said. "We stand, we finish this." He opened the channel. "This is Admiral Rook of the Galactic Council Fleet. We come to end this war." The voice answered calmly. "Then you end yourselves." Every system in Rook's ship went dark. The engines died, the lights flickered out. Across the entire fleet, ships froze in place, powerless. "What are they doing?" the officer shouted. "They're not attacking us." "They don't need to," Rook said quietly. His screen suddenly lit up with the face of Admiral Keon Ward. "You came to end something that was already over," Keon said. "We gave you warnings. We offered peace through silence. But you chose arrogance again. You can't rule forever." Rook shouted. "Rule?" Keon said softly. "We don't rule. We remember." Then in an instant the dark space around them lit up. Thousands of holograms appeared, images of old Earth cities. People smiling, children laughing. "Do you know why we fight?" Keon asked. "Not for conquest, but for memory." "You could have wiped us out," Rook said. "Why don't you?" Keon's eyes softened slightly. "Because extinction teaches nothing. Fear does." The connection cut off, and every alien ship suddenly regained power. Engines came back online, weapons restored. Rook looked confused. "They're letting us go?" "No," said his officer. "They're sending us back." The ship's coordinates shifted automatically, and before anyone could react, the fleet was pulled out of the system by a forced hyperspace jump. When they reappeared, they were above their own capital world, alive but shaken. The message from humanity appeared on every screen. "We are not your enemy, but we will always be your reminder." Back on Erebus, Lena stood beside her brother. "You could have ended them," she said. "You had the chance." Keon looked out at the stars. "If we destroy them, they'll only forget us again. And if they don't learn," she asked. He smiled faintly. "Then the stars will, on the Galactic Council world." Thelia addressed the assembly. "We have faced our mirror," she said. "And what we saw was not weakness, it was fear. Humanity has shown us that survival is not power. Understanding is." Some delegates nodded. Others stayed silent, but none argued. That night, across every corner of the galaxy, the final human transmission played. The voice of Keon Ward spoke softly. "This is our last broadcast. We have no more warnings, no more vengeance. We will return to silence. But remember this, silence is not peace, silence is preparation." And then the stars went quiet once more. No ships, no signals, just a calm that felt like the edge of a storm. In that silence, the galaxy realized something that chilled them all. Humanity had not vanished. Humanity was simply waiting, watching from the dark, patient as the void itself. And everyone knew deep down that the next time they heard that voice again, it would not be a warning, it would be judgment.